Yeah, YouTube, what is up? It's CS back here with another installment, and here are my picks for UFC 133, Evans versus Ortiz. So, folks, as of late, this shit has been basically under a makeover. The main event, the initial main event, Phil Davis versus Rashad Evans, obviously no more. Phil Davis had to pull out. Now we have a match between Tito Ortiz and Rashad Evans. Of course, they can settle the draw that they had about 5 years ago. So, no, I'm glad that's going down, and I think Evans beats him. But I'll get to that bout a little later. As for the co-main event, the initial co-main event, Antonio Rogério Nogueira, he was supposed to face Rich Franklin. Of course, Nogueira got injured. Rich Franklin, they couldn't find a replacement for him, so that's unfortunate. He's not on the card anymore either. So now we have Dennis Hulman and Brian Everol fighting in welterweight up on the main card now. So I guess that's a decent replacement bout. Both guys are savvy veterans. I'm actually looking forward to that bout. But I'd rather see Alexander Gustafsson versus Matt Hamill up on the main card myself, just because I think that bout's a little bit more relevant for that division. I don't see Eversole or Holman being able to trouble any of the guys that are in top 10, where I might see Gustafsson, there someday in the light heavyweight division. So, preference says I'd rather see Gustafsson up on the main card against Matt Hamill. But let's get right into it now. Start off by taking a look at the first bout of the main card. This one is between Rory McDonald and Mike Pyle in welterweight. So I very much like this welterweight bout, if you want to call it a bout. I think that Rory McDonald basically eats Mike Pyle. I don't give Mike Pyle much of a chance. We say that about Mike Pyle in his fights, and then he comes out and makes a fight out of something, and lately has been winning. He squeaked out a decision against Almeida, which most people thought he lost, including myself, although I did pick him. And he did beat John Hathaway. Well, not beat, embarrass John Hathaway. But cannot see him put up much of a fight against Rory McDonald. I think Rory McDonald is surrounded by great people up in the TriStar camp in Montreal, and I just think he's improved in every bout that he's been in. So I just look for him to look, just as good like he did in the Nate Diaz bout, maybe better. I think we're going to see his improved striking. I think he severely outboxes Mike Pyle, lands the harder shots, and I think he just picks him apart because Mike Pyle, not the greatest striker, improved striking himself, but I think Rory's a little bit more fluid. I think he hits harder. I think he's going to put combinations together, so expect Mike Pyle to be severely outboxed and dropped at times. As for the grappling, Roy McDonald is a great wrestler, very athletic, and he has cardio now to boot. So I just don't see Mike Pyle getting the upper hand in what he's going to want to do, which is submission grapple, because Rory's going to have the wrestling and athletic ability to keep this thing on feet, where he should just outstrike Mike Pyle, which I think is going to happen. And I do think to ice the rounds, Rory's going to take down Mike Pyle at the end of rounds as well. Give him a definite edge, like a definite 10-9. And I think that Mike Pyle is just not going to have enough time to whip out submissions. So that's my pick, Rory McDonald, unanimous D. All right, now moving on, we got a fun middleweight bout here between two strikers. One's Jorge Rivera, the other is Alessio Sakara. Both are coming off losses, and both have something to prove. So we'll see. For me, I like Alessio Sakara in this bout. I think he's a more technical striker. I think he's a lot more fluid as well. He's not as flat-footed as Jorge Rivera. So, I just think that Rivera, his only chance at winning, it's a puncher's chance. And I look for Alessio Sakara to be somewhat elusive. And I just don't think Jorge Rivera is going to find a home for, a knockout left or right. The guy has good power. But I think Alessio Sakara with his hand speed and him moving around and shit, I think is gonna find a home for his hand on Jorge Rivera's face first. I think that that's where he jumps on Rivera and puts him away with punches or TKO. So I look for them to feel each other out at the beginning of round one. But as soon as Alessio Sakara sees an opening, the guy is a very aggressive round one fighter. I look for him to expose that opening and just win via punches, just being the better kickboxer. So that's my pick, Alessio Sakara, round one TKO over Jorge Rivera. Now moving on, we have that welterweight bout that is now on the main card. This one is between Dennis Hulman and Brian Eversol. Now, Hulman, pretty much a straightforward fighter. The guy is a ground fighter. That's it, you know. He's improved in other areas of his mixed martial arts game over the years, but this guy's gonna want to get this shit to the ground to stay standing. He gets outstruck by Eversol, and I just don't see Hulman getting superior on Eversol at any time, just because I think for the most part it's going to be a stand-up bout. I think Eversol is going to be a good enough wrestler to just keep this thing on the feet, and where he edges Dennis Hulman on the feet everywhere. So that's my pick. Brian Eversol to outstrike Dennis Hulman over the course of 3 rounds, unanimous D. Alright, now moving on, we have a middleweight bout for the co-main event. This one's between Vitor Belfort and Yoshiro Akiyama. Bam! I think someone's going to get knocked out here. I really don't see this going 3. Both are go-getters, and both are, in my opinion, kind of easy to hit, and they both throw relatively hard, and I think that the guy who has a better chance of getting hit is Yoshiro Akiyama. And with the heat Vitor Belfort throws, I think that he's going to be able to put Akiyama away. Also, Akiyama has very good power, but when he does land, he doesn't always land as flush as he should because he's not a very technical striker. So even if he hits Belfort, I think Belfort will be okay. But I think Belfort, once he hits you with a nice straight punch down the pipe, I think that he should be good because that's where he goes all fast and flurries on you. So I think he'll be able to find a chink in Yoshiro Akiyama's armor real fast, find an opening, and I think he'll expose it. And I think he's a pretty good round one finisher himself. So that's my pick, Vitor Belfort. First round TKO punches. He hasn't done that shit since Rich Franklin, I believe. I think he'll pull it off this time against Yoshiro Akiyama. First round TKO. Okay, moving on. Now, main event right here. This one's between, of course, Tito Ortiz and Rashad Evans. Tito Ortiz coming off that impressive win against Ryan Bader. Of course, he didn't win in 5 years up until that point. Finally injury-free, and he showed what he could do when, he's not hurt and he has no excuses. So big ups to Ortiz for that impressive win. Caught Bader in that guillotine. Bader has no submission grappling background whatsoever. For the most part, he's been able to stay out of, stupid submissions. Like he's faced like Nogueira before, somehow beat him. I figured that Tito wouldn't be able to threaten him with submissions, but he did. So I always knew Tito was a great submission grappler, and I figured if he's going to use it sometime, it might win him some fights, and it did. So I'm glad he basically went to his bag of tricks for that one. So big ups to Tito in that win. However, I don't see him pulling that shit off against Rashad. I don't care how long Rashad's been out. I think Rashad Evans is the better wrestler and just the better boxer. I think he's more athletic, and I think that's all he's going to need. I think that his wrestling and athleticism is going to allow him to keep this thing on the feet. Edge Evans with the striking game, I think he's a better boxer, has better offensive and defensive capabilities on the feet. I think he's harder to hit because of the amount of movement he does. Nice head movement as well. I think it's going to be hard for Tito to find a home for his right or left. So I look for Rashad to outclass Tito on the feet, just be the better boxer, drop Tito at times. I think Rashad has relatively good power, so I can definitely see that happening. And as well, if he chooses to use the wrestling route, I think he beats Tito like that too and not get caught in anything because he's a better submission grappler than Ryan Bader is. So look for Rashad to mix it up. I think that this fight is his if he wants it, and I think he's just going to impose his will on Tito Ortiz. And all I can say is props to Tito Ortiz for showing up, but and I just don't think he wins this fight. I think he pretty much loses everywhere Rashad takes us. So that's my pick, Rashad Evans, unanimous D, just wrestling box. Okay, now that about does it for my picks for UFC 133, Evans versus Ortiz. I hope you guys enjoyed my picks. I hope you guys enjoyed the upcoming card. I think it should be fun. So definitely tune into it. And I'm not sure if I do a review for it or not. We'll see. But I got one thing for you. UFC Ultimate Royce Gracie DVD. Yours if you want it. All you have to do is be subscribed and tell me who you think is gonna win and give me an outcome. Whoever is right and is subscribed is eligible to win. So basically, I'll PM you, let you know. You can give me your details, and I'll ship this out to you, and I'll announce you as the winner in an upcoming video in the future. So that's all you guys have to do. Be subscribed and tell me who you think is gonna win. Make sure your outcome is right as well. So yes, please enter that contest, and yeah, I guess I'll hear from you in the future. That about does it for me now. Please follow me on Facebook, Tumblr, or Twitter if you guys want to keep into contact there. Also, subscribe, thumbs up, comment, helps a lot. Please do if you so want to, which I hope you do. And yeah, I guess that's about it. So again, hope you enjoyed my picks. Hope you guys enjoy the card, and I guess I'll talk to you soon. Take care.